Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Jared Pelly's Fragrance Reviews. Tonight, I'm going to be examining a fragrance from the house of Tom Ford. This is Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, which is an EDP Eau de Parfum concentration, which came out in 2007. This is classified as an amber spicy fragrance. So the container I am holding is about a 12 to 15 milliliter decant. It's a travel spray, and you can see it says TF Tom Ford on this little cylinder. And even this, I actually got this recently as a gift from a very good friend of mine, and I'm very appreciative of that. It's very nice of him. And this, even in this size, is well over $100. A 50 ml bottle is $375 with tax where I live. So it's a very expensive fragrance, as are many of Tom Ford's. This fragrance is interesting to me in the sense that I have probably sampled this fragrance more than almost any other fragrance, but never purchased it. And I always found that for the price, you have to justify the fragrance, or justify the amount you're spending on the fragrance. So this was always something that fell short for me. And the one thing I always find with Tom Ford's fragrances, especially a lot of the deeper, more opulent ones, they are very top heavy on the notes, in a sense that the initial spray and that initial dry down within a few minutes is pretty much what you're going to get through the whole fragrance. The fragrance doesn't really develop. It isn't necessarily that complex. So a fragrance like this, the top notes are tobacco leaf and some spicy notes. The mid notes are vanilla, cacao, tonka bean, and tobacco blossom. And the base notes are dried fruits and woody notes. So there's not really a lot of notes in this fragrance. And a lot of Tom Ford's most popular, best fragrances are very deep. They're very brooding. And I always wondered how he was able to achieve that. And I think a lot of it is that he gives the heaviest notes up top in a lot of the fragrances, and they continue straight through the fragrance, when a lot of other ones, they develop in different ways where you're not getting hit with all these deep notes right off the top. So I'm just going to give this one quick spray. So initially, you get a very deep, rich, opulent, sweet tobacco with a definite cacao note. And it has a bit of a cherry vibe to it, cherry tobacco vibe. And I like it very much. I think this is an excellent fragrance. I'm going to say that right off the top, is that I'm not saying this is a bad fragrance. I'm just saying it is not that complex of a fragrance. And as this fragrance dries down, it becomes more gourmandish, and you get more vanilla, and it becomes darker at the same time. Later on, it's still about the same, but it gets maybe a little more delicious. It's very linear. It basically smells the same. So there is some development, a little bit off the initial spray, but then that's pretty much all you get. And if you like that smell, that's good. But in terms of the fragrance, like Tom Ford's fragrances, I like the smell, but they always leave me wanting more. The smell of this fragrance, I would say, is very unique, and the performance is decent. I got about 6 hours off of this fragrance, and this fragrance, there's just two notes I want to talk about. The first one is the note of tobacco, which is a rich, warm, and sometimes sweet note, and it can smell like whiskey or caramel or sometimes herb-like. The other note I want to talk about that's used in this fragrance is tobacco blossom, which is in fact a flower. It has a leathery, floral aspect to it, and it's very pleasant. It's not too harsh. So my final thoughts on this fragrance, it all comes down to is, are you willing to pay the amount required to get this fragrance? I do think this is a very good fragrance. I do like it very much. But only you can make that decision of how much money you're willing to fork out to get a luxury fragrance like this, because it is very, very expensive. And this is where I think I always had the hesitation with it. I thought it was a very good fragrance, but can you justify it? And that's what a lot of Tom Ford or niche fragrances come down to. Is it really worth it? So for me to purchase a niche fragrance, it has to be something otherworldly or super spectacular. And you really don't find that many niche fragrances or many fragrances that are in that realm. There are some like Creed has some fantastic fragrances that are so unique. Even Tom Ford has some, but it all comes down to the value of the fragrance. So if you have any experiences with this scent, if you like this video, hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell. Any comments, leave them down below, and I'll always get back to you. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.